What if I told you, the thing sitting in your bathroom right now, something you bought for $2, could be worth more than your paycheck during an economic collapse? It's happened before. More times than you think. And the people who knew, they survived. The ones who didn't? They lost everything. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people will never admit: when economies collapse, the world doesn't end dramatically in one day. It gets weird, quietly, slowly, painfully weird. Money stops meaning what it used to. The rules change overnight. And suddenly, the things you walked past at the dollar store become the most valuable objects on earth. Today, we're breaking down 8 everyday items that transform into pure luxury the moment an economy falls apart, backed by real history, real collapses, and very real patterns that are showing up right now. Stay until the end, because the last one will genuinely shock you. Most people don't realize that during World War II and the Great Depression, soap was rationed. Rationed. A bar of soap. In Weimar Germany, where hyperinflation was so severe people literally burned money for warmth, hygiene collapsed because soap became unaffordable. Disease followed. Entire city blocks were ravaged not by war, but by the absence of something you probably keep in a 12-pack under your sink. In Venezuela's economic crisis of 2016 to 2019, soap bars were being traded on black markets for the equivalent of a full day's wages. When civilization feels the pressure, cleanliness becomes currency. Think cooking oil is basic? So did everyone else, until it disappeared. During the Soviet collapse in the early 1990s, cooking oil became one of the most hoarded and traded commodities in Russia and Eastern Europe. Families who had cooking oil could fry food, preserve meat, trade for medicine. Those who didn't? They boiled everything in water and called it dinner. Fast forward to 2022. Cooking oil shelves across Europe and the US were stripped bare due to supply chain shocks from the Ukraine war. Prices tripled almost overnight in some regions. Oil doesn't just cook your food. In a collapse, it powers your survival. Here's one that goes back literally thousands of years, so ancient that the word salary comes from the Latin salarium, meaning the payments Roman soldiers received in salt. Salt preserves food. Without refrigeration, which fails during power grid collapses. Salt is the only thing standing between fresh meat and deadly bacteria. During the American Civil War, Confederate forces lost battles not just due to military failures, but because Union blockades cut off their salt supply. Their food rotted. Their armies weakened. A mineral changed the outcome of a war. A bag of salt in your pantry is a historical wealth strategy. Fire. The oldest human technology. And one of the first things people fight over when the grid goes down. After Hurricane Katrina in 2005, waterproof matches were being sold for up to 10x their retail price in the affected areas. Same story during Puerto Rico's blackout after Hurricane Maria. People were trading lighters like they were gold coins. In the 1973 oil crisis, the fear of blackouts sent hoarding instincts into overdrive across the United States and Europe. Matches, candles, and lighters, all gone from shelves within 48 hours of panic setting in. What happens next is surprising. It's not food people fight over first. It's the ability to cook the food they already have. This one is sobering. During Argentina's 2001 economic collapse, one of the worst in modern history, pharmacies ran dry within weeks. Insulin. Antibiotics. Blood pressure medication. People began trading gold jewelry just to get basic prescriptions. One story that circulated widely: a mother in Buenos Aires traded her wedding ring for a 10-day course of antibiotics for her child. History shows a pattern here. Medicine becomes more valuable than precious metals the moment a healthcare system cracks. It happened in Zimbabwe during their hyperinflation crisis. It happened in Greece during their debt crisis. It's the quiet, terrible reality no financial advisor ever puts in a portfolio. You already lived through a small taste of this one. In March 2020, toilet paper became the symbol of panic. But why? Because psychologically, it represents control. When people feel the world slipping, they grab what's most familiar, what makes them feel normal. But here's what's deeper. In Venezuela's crisis, toilet paper disappeared from stores entirely by 2015. The government literally had to import it as an emergency measure and distribute it like foreign aid. A product that costs $1. Distributed like famine relief. That's what collapse looks like in everyday items. People need stimulants. That's not a moral judgment, it's anthropology. During World War II, American soldiers used cigarettes as currency across Europe. Coffee had the same role. In post-war Germany, coffee was so valuable it operated as a de facto currency in black markets, with precise exchange rates worked out between traders. Alcohol? Even more so. Prohibition in the US didn't stop drinking, it made alcohol more valuable. Bootleggers became millionaires. The same economics showed up in Russia's 1990s collapse, where vodka became a medium of exchange rivaling the ruble. If you think these are vices, history says they're assets. And here's the one that will stay with you. Not gold. Not silver. Not crypto. Seeds. During the Soviet Union's collapse, urban Russians turned parks and public spaces into vegetable gardens. Windowsills. Rooftops. Empty lots. Anyone who had seeds, who knew how to grow food, had power in a way that money could no longer provide. The Irish potato famine is perhaps the most haunting example. When one crop failed, an entire civilization fractured. Over 1 million dead. Millions more displaced. All because food production had become dangerously centralized and fragile. Today, over 60% of the world's food supply depends on just 4 crops. The system is not as stable as your grocery store suggests. A packet of heirloom seeds costs $3. In a collapse, it's a lifeline.